Welcome to F1 Sports, where passion meets precision. I'm your host, Ed, diving deep into the plays, players, and stories shaping the game. Make sure you leave a like on this live or video when you see in the playback. Leave a comment, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and share for others to see. This is Weekly Sports Talk with Ed, episode 70. As you see in the title, the main topic will be about Lamar Jackson, which will be the second topic that I discussed for today. Won't save it. Last week I say the main topic just kind of fluctuates between when I want to do it. But to get into it, every month I've been doing this wrestling awards for each month because that way it's going to help when it comes to my award show that I do with the family later in the year. So we'll do that either December or either after AEW Worlds End, do it that following Sunday, or do it the first January, do it the first weekend of January. But to get to my October Wrestling Awards, just in my personal opinion, is what I do each month. I'm going to start with MVP. I'll go with Trick Williams once again, fourth time this year. I'm calling him the MVP of the month. Trick Williams has had a great year, and he's had a great month, and that's just continued. Trick Williams has been great. The feud with Mike Santana was really good. He's now transitioning to a feud with Ricky Saints, which I'm not too happy about. I don't think he needs to be in NXT any longer, but he's really proven himself that he can be a top name and that he is one of the top guys on the roster, in my opinion. For male superstar October, went with Hangman Adam Page. His feud with Samoa Joe, I'm liking it. Obviously, Samoa Joe is in the mid card as the trios champion right now. But Samoa Joe and Hangman have history. Joe turned heel, so I like what they're doing with that. And it's going to be wrapped up soon after Hangman retains the second time, more than likely. So yeah, I'd go with Hangman for male superstar of the month. For female superstar of the month, I'm going with Chris Statlander, also from AEW. First time I give her this, had a really good month. Having a good run so far as Women's World Champion. Had the rematch against Toni Storm, was able to win that at I forgot what pay-per-view that was. It wasn't because Full Gear is coming up. It was Wrestle Dream. That was a great pay-per-view. And so yeah, I like what Chris Statlander did in the month of October. For tag team of the month, I go with FTR. They're finally back in contention for the AEW World Tag Team titles, so they've been doing a good job building up to that. I'm surprised that them and Hurt Syndicate never had an actual tag team match. They were in a three-way tag team match, but now that they're back in the actual tag team title picture, I like that. I like what FTR's been doing. For most improved wrestler of October, I'll go with Harley Cameron for the third time this year. She's finally back on TV in a tag team with Willow Nightingale. That's been a fun watch. That's been exciting to see. So I'm just excited to see where they continue to go with that. Harley Cameron doing stuff with Mercedes Moné again as well, and being intertwined in multiple stories, just being very comedic and making everything work that she's been a part of. For Rookie of the Month, Leon Slater for the sixth time. And this is the last time he can get it because he debuted in TNA last year in October. So this is the last time that I can give him Rookie of the Month. Before the sixth time, I'm going with Leon Slater. Leon Slater's been amazing, been a great X Division champion, doing some cool stuff with Javon Evans. They even became a tag team, which has been really cool to see. I'm enjoying what they're doing. And Leon won Rookie of the Month for October leads into my match of the month in October, which was Javon Evans versus Leon Slater at Bound for Glory. One of the best matches of the year. In my opinion, it's the sixth best match of the year. The only thing that kept it from being top five is the way that it ended. The ending was terrible, but I can't take away from how exciting and how fun the match was. And they had a story going into it, and their story is still continuing as a tag team. So I like what they've been able to do. Leon Slater, Javon, both young. These two guys are the future of pro wrestling in TNA and WWE. Even though Leon Slater, I don't see him leaving TNA for a while. I think he's going to be there for a minute. He could come to WWE in the future, but I think with this partnership, he'll still be in TNA for a while as long as they have a partnership, and him and Leon Slater can do stuff together. Like they got great chemistry. It's just the ending with Dark State interfering was so stupid. I didn't understand that. They're still having a feud with Dark State, but that was an amazing match. One of my favorite matches and one of the best matches of October. For the rivalry of the month, I'll go with the rivalry that ended at Bound for Glory between Mike Santana and Trick Williams. And this is the third time I'm giving them this for rivalry of the month. they've done a great job throughout the year with the rivalry. I really enjoyed it. I think now, after 10 months, this has been the best wrestling feud of the year, in my opinion. And Naomi and Jade is second for me. But their feud was really good. It capped off with Mike Santana eventually winning the TNA World Championship, which I thought was really a positive, in my opinion. He did a great job. So I've enjoyed. They both did a great job in this feud. Now Trick is back on NXT television. Mike Santana and TNA. TNA returns November 13th, so they're coming back in 12 days. So they took a break after Bound for Glory, and I'm excited to see what happens when TNA is officially back, and that's going to be live. So I know they're planning a big live episode for Impact on the 13th. For a pay-per-view of the month, this was tough because all AEW, TNA, and WWE all had good pay-per-views. Bound for Glory was really good. I gave it an 8 out of 10. The Wrestle Dream, 8.5 out of 10. And Crown Jewel, 8.5 out of 10. I haven't seen Halloween Havoc yet. I got to check that out when I get a chance. Been busy, so I didn't see it. But those three events, those three pay-per-views that I watched, they were really good. It's hard for me to decipher which one I want to go with. But I end up going with Crown Jewel. I gave that 8.5 out of 10. I think that was the best pay-per-view, in my opinion. You seen the match with Stephanie and Tiffany was really good. And Stephanie ended up winning AJ Styles and John Cena last time ever. I think that's really what did it for me and sent it over the edge. The only reason I didn't go with Wrestle, and obviously Bound for Glory, I had it ranked 0.5 below that. And Wrestle Dream, it could have been higher if you didn't have a match on the pre-show bleeding to the main show. Like, even though it's both 8.5 out of 10s, Bound for Glory, and not Bound for Glory, Wrestle Dream and Crown Jewel, the difference was with AEW, it felt a bit, even though I gave it the same rating, the fact that there's a pre-show match ending and it's leading to the main show, that don't really make sense to me. But yeah, it was an overall good pay-per-view, but I'll go with Crown Jewel, and I think that Cena and AJ match, that's really sent it over the top for me, because that's a top 10 match of the year, in my opinion. Now for surprise, so the big surprise of October was Jade Cargill turning heel. I didn't expect her to turn heel. Glad that it happened, because they let the babyface run play out. They seen what they could do with it, and they seen that they needed to make some change, and they let her become heel. Obviously, and we've seen the promos already. It seemed more natural with her being a heel. That was definitely the biggest surprise. One of the biggest surprises, because the return of the month, in my opinion, was Ilya Dragunov. I knew it had been rumored for him to return at some point, and when he finally did, I was ecstatic to return and beat Sami Zayn to become the new United States champion. So I was a fan of that. I'm not a fan of Ilya continuing the open challenges. He needs to have an actual story now. He didn't did it back-to-back weeks, so that's cool. But he needs to have an actual story to really establish this run and establish the U.S. title. Because Sami did it, but Sami can't do it and then be followed up by somebody else doing it. It's good to see it being defended, but you got to have an actual story now. A segment of the month, I'd say Jey Uso and CM Punk promo on the Go Home show of Raw before the Saturday night's main event that'll be taking place later today. It was a good promo, in my opinion. Both guys had a really good back and forth, and I'm excited for that match later tonight. I'm hoping that Jey Uso gets the win. And then for the best weekly TV show of October, I went Raw for the first time this year. This is the first time I said that about WWE Raw being the best show of the month, in my opinion. They had a really good month. I say on average, it was 7.3 out of 10 per episode on average last month. So Raw did a great job. I'm enjoying the stories with Jay and Jimmy stuff, with Asuka, Io, Asuka and Kairi saying what the Kabuki Warriors got going on. The Bailey gimmick I'm still indifferent about it, but it is what it is. But they've been having AJ Styles and Dragon Lee winning the tag titles. That was a nice sight to see the tag titles finally being defended. And then for top promotion of the month, and you heard a lot of WWE stuff in this WWE top promotion of the month for the first time this year, in my opinion. Really good month for WWE through SmackDown, NXT, Raw, the pay-per-views. I heard some positive stuff about Halloween Havoc. Like I said, I got to check it out for myself. But I do know that Tatum actually is the new NXT Women's Champion. Like I said, Trick Williams has been doing his thing in the TNA partnership. Don't like that he's feuding with Ricky Saints, but it is what it is, making it work, I guess. The women's tag titles are being showcased a little bit more, so I'm enjoying that. I think that's going well. But that's it for the wrestling awards of the month of October. I do this again either at the end of this month or the beginning of next month for November. And then I don't know if I want to continue it after the year since this. I mean, I could continue it. I could check the calendar to see, but I could do it. Yeah, I'm gonna do it on December 6th. I do the wrestling awards for the month of November. So yeah, that's it for my wrestling awards for the month of October. Moving on to the next topic, Lamar Jackson is back, and what does that mean for the Ravens? As you see in the title, he threw, seeing the thumbnail, he threw for 4 touchdowns. The Ravens got a dominant win against the Dolphins. Let's just talk about this game. Lamar Jackson in his return, they played on Thursday night game. Ravens on a short week. He didn't play the game before this, where they beat the Bears, and Tyler Huntley started. Tyler Huntley played a great game. He get them a win against the Bears. This win against the Dolphins, 28-6 win. The Dolphins had chances. They probably wouldn't have won anyways, but they did have chances and just couldn't capitalize. 18 completions on 23 attempts, 204 yards and 4 touchdowns. 1 touchdown to Kohler, 2 touchdowns to Mark Andrews, 1 touchdown to Rashad Bateman. Lamar Jackson looked amazing in his return. Didn't lose a step. Didn't have too many carries. He didn't have to run the ball much against the Dolphins defense. The Dolphins sucked. But for Lamar to come back after missing multiple weeks in a row, he just looked great. He missed 3 weeks. And then one of those weeks they had a bye, which really helped. So it was great that they had a bye week during that time that Lamar was hurt, so he didn't miss any extra game. But they played 3 games without Lamar, and they went 1-2. And with Lamar back, they're now 2-3 with Lamar in the lineup. Obviously, things have not looked great, but that also plays into the defense. The defense has to do their part. Because that week 1 game, you can't put that on Lamar when they gave up so many points to the Bills. They were up 15. And that game was still bad for both the Bills and Ravens, in my opinion. I personally didn't think that the win was really impressive during week 1 from the Bills because they were down as a contending team. You shouldn't be down to another contender 15 in the fourth quarter. And for the Ravens, you shouldn't lose that game to the Bills being up that much in the fourth quarter. So that game is still weird to me. I still wasn't the biggest fan of that Ravens-Bills game from week 1. But let's focus on Lamar. Like I said, return, 28-6 win against the Dolphins, 18-23, 4 touchdown passes, plenty of another 4 touchdown game for Lamar in his career. And he looked great in this game. The Dolphins couldn't do anything to stop him. The first half, the Dolphins had chances. Like it could have been a bit closer. The Dolphins could have had 9 points in the first half, but the Tua just isn't the guy. And Brian Flores tried telling everybody this, that he simply wasn't the guy. And I always felt like Brian Flores was right, and he's proven, and it's been proven that he was right about that. Mike McDaniel simply isn't a good coach. Like Stephen A. had a tape about Mike McDaniels, which a lot of people disagree with, but I actually agree with Stephen A. on this. Like Mike McDaniels is not a good coach. He has to go. If the GM is fired, the Tua and Mike McDaniels should be gone too. Like they're not good. The Tua's not a good quarterback, and Mike McDaniels, he simply isn't a good coach. Because there's certain play calls. It's like, why are you going for it on 4th and 2 when you can kick a field goal? That's not a Tua problem. That's a Mike McDaniel call or the offensive coordinator. You should, 4th and 2, and your offense has been stagnant since Tyreek has went down. And even when Tyreek was there, it wasn't like it was some amazing offense. But since he's went down, the offense hasn't been good. Why are you going for it on 4th and 2? Just kick the field goal. But too much talk about the Dolphins. Let's focus on the Ravens. Lamar, first drive back, got a touchdown to Mark Andrews. And he had back-to-back connections for Andrews for touchdowns. So Lamar is back, and he looks better than ever. And they're 3-5 on the season. They're still third in the division. They have time to. Is it possible they win the division? Yes, but there is also other problems that we have to tackle when it comes to that. because when I look at the NFL standings and then you look at the division, the Steelers are 4-3, the Bengals are 3-5, and the Ravens are 3-5. The Browns are 2-6. So looking at their division, let's look. I want to look at the Ravens' next 9 games and also look at the other teams ahead of them. So the Ravens play 9 more games. They've already had their bye. The Steelers, pretty sure every team in their division has had. Wait, the Steelers are 4-3. They played. Okay. So the Ravens, their next 9 games, they play They have 5 games in their division. They have 2 against the Bengals, 2 against the Steelers, and 1 more against the Browns. And they already dominated the Browns once. They can easily dominate the Browns again. The Bengals games, Joe Burrow may be back for one of those, if not both. Whether he's back for one or both, the Bengals have a good chance of splitting. Assuming that Joe Burrow plays in one of those games, the Bengals can win the game with Joe Burrow. They could also lose it. But I see the Steelers are definitely going to split. Lamar struggles against the Steelers heavily. So if not a sweep, the Steelers are going to split that with the Ravens. So that's a split. Then the Bengals, like I said, it all depends on Joe Burrow, but I'm assuming sweep. So I'm assuming they go 4-2 within the division. So 3-2 in their next 5 division games. And then I'm just looking at the Ravens schedule and looking at them. So then they got 2 more conference games against the Jets and the Patriots. The Jets, they should be able to take care of. The Patriots is a different story because Drake May looks amazing. Then they have 2 outer conference games versus the Vikings and the Packers. The Vikings game, they should be able to win. They're playing their third string quarterback. The Packers gets a bit iffy because with Michael Parsons in that defense, then Jordan Love playing as good as he is, that's up in the air, especially now that Lamar's back. That could go either way. Can the Ravens make the playoffs? Yes. Will they make the playoffs? I'm unsure. And that's because of the other teams within their conference. When you're third in your division and you get off to such a slow start, it's hard for me to beat. And that Chiefs game that they lost, it's very hard for me to look at this team and be like, yeah, they definitely can be a playoff team when the Patriots are 6-2. They're rolling. Their schedule is only getting weaker from here on. The Bills are 5-2. They take care of the bad opponents. I don't know how many more good teams they play. The Colts are 7-1. So they look amazing. And then they have a tough schedule coming up, so we'll see what happens with that. The Jaguars are 4-3, and the Texans are 3-4, but the Texans beat the Ravens. So if it comes down to the Texans and Ravens having the same record, the Texans get the tiebreaker, assuming that both teams are fighting for the 7th seed. And then you got the AFC West that has 3 playoff caliber teams who made the playoffs last year. You got the 6-2 Broncos, the 5-3 Chargers, and the 5-3 Chiefs. I don't see any 3 of these teams missing the playoffs unless something drastic happens. All 3 of those West teams are making it. The Colts, I see making it. The Bills and Patriots, I see them making it as well. So that's 3. That's already 6 teams. That's already 6 teams I see making it that are better than the Ravens. The Ravens' only hope is that they win the division. I can only because you're still competing with the Jaguars, the Texans, and the Bengals within your division. So you have to overtake the Bengals and the Steelers, which is it possible? Maybe, but the Steelers still have games they got to play. So if the Steelers are winning as well, and I know it's lost back-to-back, but if the Steelers can get back to their winning ways, and if they win the division, the Ravens have to win the division. That's the only way they can make the playoffs. If they don't win the division, it's cooked because you got the Patriots, the Bills, the Steelers, assuming they win the division, Colts, Broncos, Chargers, Chiefs, maybe Jaguars, which I forget who won the Jaguars-Chiefs game. Did the Jaguars win that? The Jaguars beat the Chiefs earlier. So there's a world where the Chiefs don't make the playoffs, assuming that the Jaguars can outlast them heading into the playoffs. So the Ravens, can they make the playoffs? Yes, it's possible. I don't think they will because they've dug themselves in such a hole that, and some of these teams, I don't see them just completely falling off a cliff. That's just my opinion, but I find it hard to see some of these teams just falling off a cliff, in my opinion. And now for a Zips update. Say this every week for people that don't know. Zips update is where I talk about Akron, the college that I go to, their college sports, and give updates on their teams. So right now it's just football, men's, women's soccer, and volleyball. Basketball season will be starting soon, so you'll get Akron basketball coverage next week. Now for the football team, they're 3-6, defeated Buffalo last week 24-16, led behind Jordan Grant, who had 25 carries for 92 yards, and Ben Finley had a 91 QBR, and it was a good win. The Akron defense, they held Buffalo to just 6 points in the second half, so they did a great job and only 10 points in the first half is good as well. So that was a good win. And they have a week 10 bye, so they don't play this weekend. But their next game, they do play on Tuesday against 0-8 UMass. So there's a very good chance that Akron can win back-to-back football games and be sitting at 4-6. Because UMass has been terrible. They're 0-8. So this should be a game that Akron is able to win. Now, Akron is on the football team is on academic probation, so they can't make a bowl game, even if they do finish 6-6, because of how bad they are academically. But I don't know if they'll win. I don't think we're winning 3 games in a row. But 0-8 UMass, that's a good chance to get another win and win back-to-back games and build some good momentum for your final 2 games of the season. So this should be a game that is won by Akron. Should be won pretty easily. The Tuesday game, pretty sure I'm working that game. So that's cameraman 1. So that should be pretty cool. Now for the volleyball team. The volleyball team has been great these last few games. They're now 13-11. They're on a 4-game winning streak currently. They've won 3 games since the last podcast episode because we had a game versus NIU on a Friday. Then I talked about that on last weekend's podcast episode before I had to work the other volleyball game that we played against NIU that on Saturday. Then we won that one in 4 sets, defeated Buffalo in 5 sets on the 28th. Then on Halloween yesterday, defeated Eastern Michigan in 5 sets. So that's 3 straight wins since the last podcast episode and 4 straight wins. So in general, 13-11 from 9-11 to 13-11. It was looking good. 4-game winning streak. We're going amazing. So I like what the volleyball team has been able to do. We look great. And yeah. So we got another game today against Eastern Michigan. So hopefully, and I'm working that game. So hopefully we can extend our win streak to 5 games and maybe have a playoff berth. But that'd be great to see. Now, somebody who won't have a playoff berth, our women's soccer team, who finished the season 5-9-4, went 2-7-3 in the conference, went 5-4 at home, but didn't win a single game on the road. Went 0-5-4 on the road. So they had multiple road losses and all their ties came on the road, which hard to make the playoffs like that. So that's just unfortunate. Now, the last 2 games of the season ended with us having a 1-1 tie versus Bowling Green, and then winning 3-0 against Toledo. And that win didn't really matter. It's like it's another win in the record books, but the team wasn't close to making the playoffs. And that's how we finished the season. Emma King, who's a senior, she in her final game only played 76 minutes out of the 90, and she had 1 goal, 1 assist in her final game. Like I said, it sucks that as good as she is, she didn't get to see a playoff game in her final year. So that's unfortunate. But Emma King had a great season. She was phenomenal for us. Did what she could. Didn't play except for 14 minutes in this game. I guess it makes the most sense. I don't know if she's going to pursue a career in professional soccer or not. It'd be cool if she did. But Emma King, great performance. Helped in the win versus Toledo on a Wednesday. Final game, like I said, final season, didn't get to go to the playoffs. Unfortunate. And our men's soccer team, who has been great, 9-3-3 on the season, so looking for a playoff spot. They have 2 more games left. Hopefully we can get to 11 wins to end the season. I've been preaching about this the last few weeks that I think we have a really good shot to get to the playoffs and even go deep in the playoffs. And they defeated Xavier last week 3-1. Dorberchek, he had 2 goals and 1 assist in that game. And we only allowed 3 shots on goal by Xavier. They wasn't able to put any pressure on the goalie at all. So that was a great The next and final game is against Creighton, so we have one game left. Like I said, I think we can get 10 wins going into the playoffs, which I'm pretty sure we'll be there for. We'll get to play in the Big Ten, I think, and they're in the playoffs. So that's gonna be fun to see. But 9-3 men's soccer team, 9-3-3, looking great. Hopefully we can win this game against Creighton and be 10-3-3 heading to the playoffs. And for soccer, when it comes to the playoffs, there are no ties. That's when overtime happens, at least for college. I don't know about pros because I haven't started watching pro soccer yet. But soccer team looks great. Now, to transition, let's talk about the NHL and talk about the New Jersey Devils. I don't know what's going on with this team. They had a hot start to the season. They lost their first game, won 8 straight, and my original topic was going to be, can the Devils sustain this play? And as soon as I thought of making that the topic for this podcast episode in the middle of the week, they lost 2 straight games following that. They've lost their last 2 games. They're still second in the Metropolitan Division, if I'm saying that right. They're one of the 6 teams that have 8 wins currently. Then I checked that yesterday to see if anybody that playing would reach 8 wins. No, so still the same 6 teams with 8 wins. One of 6 teams with 8 wins on the season. Haven't played in any overtime games. I don't know if it's any other NHL team that is not did that. I can check real quick, but I'm unsure if there's any, because I know they've not played in any overtime games. So there was a few other teams that haven't played in overtime. I just noticed that it stood out to me because of how good they've been this season. Like they're just getting wins. They haven't been in any overtime games. Well, that's what they were doing in the first 9 games of the season. And went 8-1 after a loss. Won 8 straight games, and I was like, this team is hot. They're one of the hottest teams in the league. And I was thinking, yeah, definitely got to talk about, can they sustain this throughout the season? Obviously not barely losing, but being one of the best teams, which is still possible. But after dropping 2 straight, let's get into those 2 games that they lost. Because in the two losses they have, and not the back-to-back losses they had, because they have 3 losses. But in their back-to-back losses, they gave up a total of 7 combined goals in those 2 games. You're not going to win if you're giving up that many goals in 2 games. That's 3.5 goals per game, and you're just getting outscored heavily. So outscored and outshot heavily. So it's going to be hard for you to win that game or win those games. Excuse me. Then Jack Hughes on the season, 9 goals, 6 assists. Having a great season, has 15 total points. He's done a great job for the Devils, like overall, even though they've struggled these last 2 games. Jack Hughes has had a really good season. But I think the main issue with this team so far early in the season, despite their good record, it's the fact that they've used 3 goalkeepers already. They're using 3 goalkeepers, and they're giving up an average of 3.1 goals per game and only have an 88.7 save percentage. When you have a save percentage lower than 90 between 3 goalies, like it's one that's directly at 90, you got another one at 80 something, then the other one's at like 96. But even he's giving up multiple goals. So it's like when you use 3 goalkeepers in 9 games, in 11 games, it's like it's gonna be hard. Like they've still been able to get wins, and obviously it comes from either injuries or just strategic matchups. At the end of the day, you can't win. It's gonna be hard to win giving up 3.1 goals a game, and majority of that stems from the loss of 1 of the season, then losses 2 and 3. When you're giving up all these goals, when you lose, and when you can't do anything offensively, you're not getting any stops. So that's just unfortunate. And an 88.7 save percentage, as a team, you need to be like 88 isn't bad. Obviously, if you're a high-scoring team, then that might make sense if you're going against other high-powered offenses that take a lot of shots on goal. But I feel like the ideal is around 90 to 91%. Because obviously not going to be perfect because multiple goalkeepers will be utilized. Obviously, whether that's injuries, matchups, stuff like that. Somebody's not playing well, you might have to bench 1 goalkeeper, bring the other one in. Like that's definitely like those. Like that can't be ignored. But this team, the Devils are struggling. They need to get back to their winning ways. Can't drop 3 straight Because you drop 3 straight, that's officially a losing streak. They drop back to back, and I said 2-game losing streak, but they'll just drop back to back. Once you reach 3, and 3 is a streak. And everybody knows that's one. No matter what it is, 3 is a streak. So they can't drop a third straight game to be on a 3-game losing streak. And then for the rest of the team, Jesper Bratt, he's had a good season. Done a great job setting up his teammates with the 4 goals, but he has 13 assists. Like I said, him assisting his teammates to get goals and putting up 13 points. Not really caring about his individual stats with just 4 goals. Because anybody can look at the stats and see, oh, Jack Hughes, he has the most goals, and he's still impactful, but he's also giving you assists as well. So Hughes and Brett are doing, Jack Hughes and Jesper Brett are doing a great job giving you goals when you need them and assists, setting up their teammates. Now, Luke Hughes, 6 assists, but he has 14 penalty minutes. He has the most penalty minutes on the team. So that's like being benched multiple times per game for either 2 or 3 minutes because you're just undisciplined. You can't have that either. Now, obviously, they're 8-3, but that can't be a reoccurring thing. Like he got to calm down a little bit in these in these future games that they play throughout the season because it's a long season. So you don't want to have too many penalty minutes to the point where it's become playoff time and you can't be trusted to play in the playoffs, whether that be from those penalty minutes. Because he does a great job setting up teammates as well. Like this team, they do a great job setting each other up. Like they have amazing puck movement. It's like you got to be on the ice to perform. All right, now let's talk about. There's 3 NBA early season underperformers. Now, there's more than 3, but these are the 3 people I want to talk about specifically because I truly don't know what's going on with these 3 players. We're going to start with my favorite player in the NBA. We're going to start with Trae Young. And this has been the worst start of his career. And I don't know, maybe his rookie season was, I know he had a rough rookie season, but this is probably, I still think it's the worst start of his career. And he's injured right now. Own teammate injured him. I don't know why he was under the basket. I don't know if that's on Trae Young or if that's on the defensive rotations. But that was weird that he was under the basket at that point. But Trae Young is averaging 17.8 points per game, 7.8 assists, 2 rebounds, shooting 37% from the field, 19% from 3, 82% from the free throw line. All those stats are career lows for Trae Young. And I've seen a couple of Hawks games, and it hasn't looked right. I didn't see the Hawks game last night because Trae didn't play. And honestly, I wasn't interested in watching the Hawks and Pacers, especially when Tyrese and Trae are out. So the Pacers can be a fun watch sometimes, but if they're playing the Hawks, it's really no incentive for me to watch unless Trae Young is playing. But, I mean, Jalen Johnson is good, too. I rock with Jalen Johnson. But these are all career lows, and I don't know what's going on. Like, he just had a slump to start the season. 19% from 3 is atrocious. Like, obviously we know that's a terrible start. It's like, man, I can't tell you what's going on with this team. And not even the team, but Trae Young specifically, because Trae just looks bad. Like, forget the defense. Like, we know Trae's not a good defender. But offensively, if Trae isn't, he's still giving you 7.8 assists, so we're not going to act like 7.8 is bad. But it's still not what you're used to him giving you on a consistent basis. He's consistently giving you 9 to 11 assists per night. Even his rookie season, he gave you 8 assists per game. So to see it drop and dip down to 7.8 this season after leading the league in assists per game last year, and obviously it's early, but it's like, what is going on? I really can't wrap my finger around it. Then 37% from the field. Now, I will say, the next person I'm going to talk about is going to make 37 sound like it's amazing because Trae Young is also a guard. So, some guards are inefficient, but you can't be this inefficient. You can't be shooting 37% from the field and not even averaging 20 points. Like, this is his worst start since his rookie year, in my opinion. And these are just all career lows. And let me talk about the guy that's shooting just 1% better than Trae Young, yet being a foot taller. 7-foot Miles Turner. You're shooting 38% from the field. Are we serious? On this 7-foot Miles Turner is only shooting 38% from the field, averaging 10 points per game and shooting 68% from the free throw line. These are all career lows for him. And he's playing with Giannis now. And he's going on podcasts talking about Halliburton is a fake tough guy. Brother, you're putting up 10 points and you're the second option. Who else is you telling me Gary Trent and Cal Kuzma are playing better than you? Like Cal Kuzma's playing great defense this year. He's been looking great defensively, so shout out Cal Kuzma. But 10 points per game, 38% from the field. Like you're not 38% from the field. Okay. Miles Turner, 38% from the field. 66 from the free throw line. You're the guy that's shooting. Miles Turner's free throw percentage has never been this bad. It wasn't even this bad his rookie year. So how are you shooting this bad from free throw range? I don't understand what's going on. Yeah, Miles Turner looks terrible this season. His defense still been good. I will say that. Rebounding still isn't great. Like, I'd like to see him get more than 6 rebounds. Like, especially with Giannis is out. Like, there should be a chance for you to really shine. But it's like Giannis is out. Ryan Hollins pops off. Ryan Rollins, I think I said his name wrong. He pops off, but it's like Miles Turner still wasn't effective in that Warriors game. It was he had a few stops, but it's like Ryan Rollins really got things going. So I'm kind of disappointed in what Miles Turner is bringing to the table. As a big man, there's no excuse to be shooting 38% from the field. You're only shooting 1% better than Trae Young, who's a 5'11" guard, and he's shooting at 37%. So both are inefficient. But one being taller and being 1% better, that's not good at all. That's embarrassing. Derek White. Derek White is putting up a career high in points per game. He's giving you career lows from the field and from 3-point range. And Derek White is good. He's a good defender. He brings a lot to the table defensively and still has been doing that. But he's leading. But this is the highest points per game he's averaged in his career so far. He's averaging 16 points per game, which is shooting 25% from 3 and 32% from the field goal. So that's just simply not good. His field goal percentage has to go up. Like Derek White is shooting worse than Trae Young, who's also shooting terrible at 37% from the field. And you're shooting 32. And then I get that the Celtics don't have Tatum, so it makes it harder for the Celtics. But it's like, even without Tatum, that's not an excuse to shoot this badly from 3 and from a field goal range. Like 25% from 3, that's atrocious. And he's taking hella threes per game. So it's like, these 3 guys are the ones that stood out to me as the biggest underperformers of the NBA season so far. I think, and all 3 of these guys have to turn it around for their teams. The Celtics have won 3 straight games. So things are looking up for the Celtics. The Hawks just won a game without Trae Young. It was against the Pacers, who are heavily hurt right now. But a win is a win at the end of the day, and every game matters as it builds up to the playoffs. Miles Turner, when you start the season shooting 38% from the field as a center, I don't know if things can really get much better. I mean, I hope so. Like, I want to see these guys succeed. But those are the main 3 biggest underperformers of the NBA season so far. So I just wanted to talk about that. Hopefully, I think Trae Young and Derek White are turning it around. Well, I'm confident. I'm most confident that Trae are turning around. Miles Turner, I don't expect to shoot this bad all season. But Derek White, I just think the shot volume can be the shot diet can be a bit better. I think things will go up for Derek White. But we'll see what happens with that. All right, baseball time. The Dodgers take Game 6 of the World Series and tie it to force a Game 7. Great win from the Dodgers. They ended up winning 3-1. Like I said, tied the series 3-3, fourth in the Game 7. The Blue Jays, they had 8 hits last night. Only 1 run to show for it. And Alejandro Kirk was the only Blue Jays player that was struck out twice. And every other Blue Jays player that did get struck out, they was only struck out once. And that it happened to Alejandro Kirk twice, which Alejandro Kirk was having a good series, and then last night just didn't look his best. But it's not the Blue Jays as a team didn't look their best in general. The Dodgers got a good win. Then every run came in the 3rd inning. All 4 runs combined in this game came in the 3rd inning. And the Dodgers only had 4 hits. They had 3 runs. They ended up winning 3-1. And like I said, the first 2 innings, nothing really happened. It was just a battle of good pitching. The 3rd inning, you got all the runs. The Dodgers scored 3 at the top of the 3rd. Then at the bottom of the 3rd, the Blue Jays scored. Then innings 4 through 9, nothing eventful really happened. It was good pitching throughout the game. And even looking at my notes from the game, it was I'm forgetting Gooseman. He had six straight strikeouts at one point during the game. Throughout from the first to third inning, so he was having a good game. And then Will Smith, his triple led to an RBI, and it moved two players. It moved two Dodgers to second and third base, which they was able to capitalize off of with the Mookie Betts hit. They gave them a 3-0 lead. And then Springer, he had a triple that led to one run to make it a 1-3 game. And after that, it was really nothing much more eventful that happened. The Minets had a crazy seventh inning pitching wise with multiple strikeouts in a row to end the seventh inning. And then pretty much after that, there was nothing eventful that really happened. But the series is tied 3-3 now. Game 7 takes place tonight. I'm excited for that. Get a game 7. Got a game 7 in the NBA Finals not too long ago. Now we're getting a game 7 in the World Series. Then I think the Stanley Cup either went to 6 games. I think it was 6 games. It was 6 or 7. Because I know the Oilers, they repeated. And that's not what. Game 7. 2025, because there was either a game, it went to 6 games. The 7 was the year prior. But getting to game 7, so that's going to be exciting. So, yeah, I think the Dodgers won it tonight. I think the Dodgers closed out the series and won it. And now they can transition me into athletes of the week. So, for the MLB, I'm going with Yoshinobu Yamamoto. I said that wrong. This week, the Dodgers went 3-2 after dropping game 1. So, they went 3-2 this past week. Yamamoto played in 2 games, and he won. And 2 games he played in, both resulted in wins. Pitched in 15 innings, gave up 9 hits, gave up 2 runs, had 14 strikeouts, had a great week, and he was their best pitcher in my opinion, and he was able to get them 2 of the wins they had. If he plays in another one of those games, maybe the Dodgers would have closed out the series at this point. That's hypothetical, so who knows, but that's my athlete of the week for the MLB. For the WWE, I went with Jaden McDonough, who I enjoyed the segments that he had with Adam Pearce on this past Raw, and then the match he had with Sheamus was a really good match in my opinion. So shout out to Jaden McDonough. I enjoyed what he did. He got the win against Sheamus too, so that was great for him. For AEW, I went with the Sisters of Sin, aka Julia Hart and Scott Blue, who defeated Queen Aminata and Jamie Hayter in the AEW Women's Tag Team Tournament to determine the first ever Women's Tag Team Champions. Great match. Tekla interfered, of course, to help the Sisters of Sin win, but they're progressing a good story here, and I like what they're doing. For the NFL, I went with Tucker Kraft at 7 receptions, 143 yards, 20.4 average per catch, 2 touchdowns, and the Packers defeated the Steelers 35-25 for another win and at the top of the NFC. So that was great for them. For college football, I went with Arch Manning for his performance last week when Texas defeated Mississippi State 45-38 in overtime. Went 29 completions, 46 attempts, 346 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Did throw an interception, but aside from that, he had a really good game in my opinion. For the NHL, I went with Leo Carlson, 2 goals, 5 assists, 7 points plus 4. And the Ducks went 2-1 this past week. Did a great job setting up his teammates and was able to and played a very crucial role in their win last night against the Red Wings. That was a great win for them as they win 2 games this week. For college volleyball, I went with Mimi Sillier. Wisconsin went 1-1 this past week. She had 32 kills, 1 ace, 35.5 points, and 12 digs. As Wisconsin went 1-1 in the 2 games that they played, and she was great. Now the second game, it didn't look so good against Nebraska, who's the best team in the nation, or one of the top 2 teams in the nation. So can't fault her for that, but she still played well. For women's college soccer, I went with Sarah Bauer in 2 games, 10 save attempts, only gave up 1 goal, And the Akron women's soccer team won one game and tied in the other. So no losses this past week as they end the season. For men's college soccer, went with Stefan Dobracek, 2 goals and 1 assist as Akron defeated Xavier 3-1 last week. Contributed for all the Akron points in that game. So shout out to Stefan. And then to cap it off with the NBA, Austin Reeves just had a phenomenal week. Put up a career high 55 points, had 11 rebounds and 9 assists in a win against the Kings in a game that was absolutely amazing. Then the following game had 41 points in a loss that took place to the Trailblazers, and the Blazers are looking great. The Trailblazers have wins over the Clippers, Lakers, and the Nuggets already. So I like what the Trailblazers are doing, but another great game for Austin Reeves as he put up 41 points. Did have 8 turnovers, so he struggled a bit, but phenomenal game. And then in a win against Minnesota, a 1-point win, Austin Reeves had a 28-point, 16 assists, double-double with a game winner. And then in the most recent win when Luka came back against the Grizzlies, Austin Reeves just 21 points, 4 assists, 4 rebounds, so still was a positive impact and went and made 2 threes, went 9-9 from the free throw line. Austin Reeves had a phenomenal week. Yes, Lakers bias since we won. We went 3-1 this past week. Austin Reeves had a career week with 51 points, a career high, 16 assists, all tied his career high, plus a game winner in that game. Had 41 in a game against the Blazers where the pressure wasn't really on Austin Reeves. They just let him do whatever. And then the Blazers were still able to get the win, so credit to the Blazers. But the Lakers have looked good so far, and I'm enjoying what I've seen. So shout out to Austin Reeves for getting Athlete of the Week this week. And that's going to wrap it up for Weekly Sports Talk with Ed, episode 70. So leave a like, a comment, share, subscribe, and I hope to see everybody that tuned in either in the comment section or on the live stream next week. The time may vary because it just depends on what time I'm working. But yeah, this was fun, and I hope everybody enjoyed.